Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Canvas Live. Canvas Live sessions are presented by Canvas community members or instructor employees, and they're designed to help Canvas users improve and enhance their teaching and learning with Canvas. We hope you enjoy this session. Today, we have with us Laura Gibbs. Laura is going to talk to us about how to create playlists in YouTube and then how to embed those playlists in Canvas. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Laura Gibbs. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Stephanie, and hi, everybody, anybody who's here for this summer presentation. I'm not sure who's going to be out there for the live presentation, but as always, I've put this slide deck and lots of notes and links up at my collection of CanvasLIVE stuff, which you can find either by going to the link in the events page at the community for this particular event, or by going to clcats.mythfolklore.net. Connected Learning with Cats is kind of the label I put on this series of Canvas Live presentations. There won't be as many cats today, but there'll be a couple, so keep your eye out for the cats. This is actually the 5th of these presentations that I've done, and you can use that CLCats hashtag at the community also to find some of the past events and see how they all fit together. Today is the first in a series of 3 presentations I'm going to do this summer that all have in common the theme of curation. So don't worry, I'm going to be talking specifically about YouTube and playlists, but I want to set up this topic of curation a little bit first in the presentation right now. So today I'm talking about curation and YouTube playlists. And then in a couple weeks, I'll be back on Thursday, June 15th to talk about curating free books online and other kinds of open educational resources that you can collect and curate. And then 2 weeks after that, on June 29th, Thursday, I'll be talking about curating images in particular and how I use Flickr and Pinterest to do that, both of which are very Canvas-friendly tools. So, curation. This is a phrase that I use a lot now, but I don't think the word even crossed my lips in graduate school, right? I went to graduate school and I was an undergraduate back in the 80s and 90s when it was still really all about books, like actual physical printed books. That's where you went for the information. And those books, either you own them or they were in the library. And to find the information you needed to go get the right book. And so there's this cute Latin saying that I really like, optimus magister bonus liber. The best teacher is a good book. And that really was true for literally thousands of years. But then something happened, right? The internet happened. And there's been this explosion of information. And on the history of that explosion, there's this beautiful book by James Glick that I really like. It's called The Information, A History, a Theory, a Flood. And it is an excellent, absolutely fabulous book that starts really with a telephone and telegraph. Just the whole history of the telephone was really fascinating, and then shows how that built up into this information explosion in the information era that we're living in now. So for teachers, this is both a fantastic opportunity, in my opinion. I'm very optimistic about it, but it's also a challenge to us, a challenge in a good sense. There is information overload. There's so much information out there. And one of the things you have to do as a teacher is find the information that you want to share with your students. But also, I think even more importantly, is to model that process of finding the information so that your students can also learn how to become content curators, people who can go out onto the internet and that flood of information and find what's valuable, important, and useful that we need right now. And so there's a quote here on the slide from John Spencer, absolute fantastic education blogger. In an age of information overload, content curation is now a vital skill for students. So I think we all need to up our game as teachers who curate. And I think we should also really think about how we teach our students about the process of curation. YouTube is a great way to do that. YouTube is a perfect example of this explosion of information. One of the statistics that I found online was that as of July 2 years ago, over 400 hours of new YouTube video was being uploaded every minute, right? So it's literally impossible for a person to know all of that. You're going to be filtering, selecting, finding somehow the YouTube materials that you want to use and then sharing them with your students. And your students are doing the same thing too, right? They're at YouTube. And so learning about the curation tools that YouTube makes available to you, and playlists are probably the most important, is something that's important for us as teachers and also to share with your students. Basically, what you need are human beings working together to curate that flood of stuff, right? The way I find out about YouTube videos that I can use with my students and my classes is from videos that people recommend, right? Things they share at Twitter or at Google Plus or at the Canvas community. So people are sharing the videos that are valuable to them. I share the videos that are valuable to me. And then YouTube allows you to create playlists, which is where you can keep track of the videos that you're finding, the things you're learning about at YouTube, and you can then share those playlists with others so they get the benefit of it as well. So it's curation, and specifically it's social curation, something that we're doing and sharing together. Now, there are lots of different dimensions of curation. If you go online and to learn about what is curation, what does this really mean, you'll find all kinds of really interesting, useful graphics. I picked out this one, which gives you a sense of the range of things that can happen: finding, selecting, editorializing, and so on. And what's really interesting about this too is if you look at these dimensions of curation, these are obviously related to things that we do as educators. A lot of critical thinking skills, for example, apply here in the world of curation. But this is also a professional field, right? If you look for curation graphics, you're going to find all kinds of people in, say, marketing who are telling about their ways of curating. And when you teach your students these curation skills, they are skills they can turn around and use in all those other professions. Like a lot of my students are actually advertising and marketing majors, right? Well, curation is not just something that academics do, it's something that's part of the PR world as well. So anyway, thinking about curation has lots of benefits for teachers and for students, and YouTube is a great way to see that in action. So now I'm finally getting around to the topic here. This is my YouTube channel. It's a click away, so feel free to go and visit. It's kind of organized, kind of not. I put in a lot of time a few years ago setting up this channel and trying to organize so literally hundreds of videos I had bookmarked here, there, and everywhere. Everyone has a YouTube channel who has a Google account, and you can use your YouTube channel to do all kinds of things, but the main thing I do there is to create, collect, and share playlists. And so to give you a sense of how I do that, I picked out a few typical kinds of playlists that I use with my students. One of the most important is a playlist of videos for growth mindset. I've talked about growth mindset in previous presentations for CanvasLIVE. It's a really important part of my classes. And there's some excellent videos out there. Some great videos by Carol Dweck, about Carol Dweck, related topics. So this is a playlist that I created that I use for my own reference to find a video I want to share with someone. And I also have the students browsing this playlist, looking for videos that they like and writing up their thoughts in their blogs about those videos. Every day in my class announcements, and I've done a CanvasLIVE about class announcements too, I have at least one video. Well, I accumulate those in a playlist, which is really fun. So by the end of the semester, there are over 100 videos in that playlist for the students to look at and enjoy. I know they don't read my daily announcements every day, but if they do have some time and they want to browse through just the videos that were in those announcements, they can find all the videos for that semester in that playlist. So this is a playlist that lasts for just one semester, and then when fall 17 rolls around, I'll start accumulating a new playlist there. Indian music. I'm so excited to share Mati Bani here with you guys. I teach a course in Indian epics, but since that's often the only course about India that my students might be taking, I use that as an excuse to share all kinds of things about India, about Indian art and Indian music, and YouTube is full of amazing music from India. So I have playlists for all my favorite artists, and Matibani, they're my favorite of all my favorites. And then I have an overall big playlist of Indian music that the students can browse and use. And of course, you know, I use it too, just as a music playlist, like when I'm out walking or something, I'll listen to my Indian music playlists. Another incredible resource I found that's just specific to my classes, but I'm sure there are incredible YouTube resources specific to everybody's classes out there, you just need to look and find it, are these video books that are put online by the Amplify YouTube channel. It's an Indian television channel, which contain the contents read out loud. So they're audio books, books by Devdutt Patnaik, which I use in my classes, and with images to go with the audio recording of the book. So it's absolutely amazing, you know, to be able to have these playlists to share with my students who want to have audio and visual to supplement the book. And then Devdutt's also at Twitter, so it becomes this great experience where they can go to Devdutt's Twitter. He's posting new YouTube videos all the time in addition to these video playbooks. It's fantastic to be able to give all of that to my students for free online there at YouTube. And then I also have a CanvasLIVE playlist, of course. It's a short one, but each time I do one of these CanvasLIVEs, I add the YouTube to that playlist. So playlist can be any size, it can grow over time, it can be static. It's really a flexible format that you can use in whatever way will suit your needs. So creating a playlist is so easy. All you do while you're watching a video is click on the little Add to Plus button under the video, and you can add it to any of your existing playlists. YouTube will pop that up automatically, populated for you. You just start typing the beginning of the name of the playlist and it'll filter it all out for you. Or on the fly, you can create a new playlist based on the specific video that you happen to be watching if it needs to go in a new playlist. And you see there are little check boxes there. You can put the same video in multiple playlists if you want, and I often do that, in fact. And playlists finally can be private or public. So I have a private playlist where I just sort of file stuff away to do stuff I need to process, and then I share publicly the playlists that I use for my classes that contain content useful for other teachers, and so on. So creating playlists, no brainer. It's extremely easy to do. Managing playlists, also super easy. A playlist has a URL, a public page of its own. You can share that URL with people. And then when you go to that page as the owner of the playlist, you have some basic management options on the playlist, just like you do at Netflix or anywhere else that you have a queue, where you can move things up and down. And you can also set the thumbnail for the playlist overall. You can add notes, but that's one of the really disappointing features of the YouTube playlist. The notes field is very constrained. It's very short. You can't put live URLs in there. So I've pretty much given up on doing notes in managing the playlist. I focus just on keeping the playlist up to date, having it arranged in a good order, choosing a good thumbnail. And in terms of annotations and notes, I write up blog posts for the videos that I want to annotate and comment in some way. Okay, so creating a playlist, easy. Managing a playlist, easy. Embedding playlists is also really easy. Now, I know a lot of people in Canvas are used to the idea that you just paste in a YouTube link and the Canvas little genie will turn it into an embedded video for you. And you can certainly do that. But YouTube makes it very easy to embed using the HTML. It'll generate the HTML for you. You just choose to share either a playlist or a video, embed. You get to choose the dimensions, which is really nice. You can do it by height or by width, and it'll adjust it automatically. And you have a few other options you can choose. And it generates the HTML that you cut, copy and paste into your web environment, Canvas, your blog, whatever it might be. Now, with playlists, you can embed a video in a playlist. So if, let's say, you're watching a video that's in a playlist, when you go to embed that video, it by default embeds that video as part of the playlist. And what's really nifty about that is it gives context, right? That, let's say, the students are watching this video, it's Bob Goldman's recitation of a Sanskrit passage from the Ramayana, you see over there where it says 2 of 133? Well, that's the order this video is in the playlist. And I happen to know that's the playlist for my daily announcements video. So that's why it's such a long playlist, and it's up near the top because it's a recent announcement. And so what happens when it's in there like that is that students can click on that little left-hand navigation tool to navigate through the entire playlist right there, or they can just let the video play, and then after 2 on the playlist here, it's going to go to 3 and 4 and so on. So they could actually have probably, I don't know, 20 hours or so of a video that's going to play off that playlist in order just from the embedded video. Now, you can also embed a playlist, and this is really cool because when you embed a playlist, it defaults automatically to whatever's at the top of the playlist, right? Well, you can manage that playlist changing the video that's at the top, and that means everywhere that you've embedded the playlist, it will be updated to show the current newest video that's at the top of the playlist. So I have the Indian music playlist. I embed that in my India class blogs, and every day I move a new video up to the top. I don't add new videos. That takes too much time, but I just move the bottom video up to the top. And so that means the students are always seeing a new, fresh video of the day at all of those blogs, and it just updates everywhere automatically. So embedding a playlist, it's a superpower. It allows you to manage in one place and have that updated content appear everywhere. And that includes embedded in playlists, embedded in Canvas playlists, because that updates from the managed playlist just like every other embedded example does. So I've got a Canvas course set up, a growth mindset course, and I did a CanvasLIVE about that a few weeks ago. It's got 2 of my playlists embedded there. And so you can go to the Canvas page, you see the video, and that video is going to change based on whatever I've got at the top of those playlists. So, advantages of playlists. There are lots of advantages. Getting organized, like I said, this is curation. Instead of the information overload, playlists help you to save what you need, what you're going to use and reuse, and helps you find what you've saved really quickly and easily. Thanks to saving things in playlists and keeping track of all the cool videos that you see people sharing, you're able to supply your students with really an endless supply of great videos. You know, and this is always my goal, is to have more than enough to satisfy the students so that they will have quality materials all the time in the formats that they like. And a lot of students really do like videos. Next presentation, I'll be talking about overabundance of books and how to give students all the books they could want. Playlists put the videos in context. One of the biggest problems with the information flood on the internet is that things are all disconnected from each other. But when you make a playlist, you're connecting the videos. And not only is that good for your students because they can see stuff in context, that's actually good for the internet, right? You're actually helping the whole internet when you build a playlist, because especially with videos, since it doesn't have text that Google can search and index, Google's kind of flummoxed in terms of figuring out what videos are good for and how one video is connected to another video. But when you make a playlist, you're sharing your human intelligence and insight with the Google mind, so it can see, that video seems to have something in common with this other video. Maybe they're all about growth mindset. Then as you do that, as you build these playlists, you model that curation, that sharing for your students. I have my students make playlists, share their playlists in their blogs using the exact same system that I do, the exact same instructions, and they really get into it. A lot of them have used YouTube before, but they never thought about having a YouTube channel of their own or having playlists of their own that they share through that channel. And then finally, like I said, you're increasing the value of the internet for everyone when you use your intelligence and your insight to create these playlists and share them. So quick recap, because I see we're already at our time. We talked about curation today, about playlists as acts of curation. I showed you some samples, how to create, how to embed, and talked about the advantages of playlists. And then there's a special cap that I made for the presentation today. So I'm easy to find online. Obviously, we can connect at the Canvas community, and then if there are questions people have now, questions later, I'm always available to answer those questions. So there you go, Stephanie.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. As usual, an extraordinarily fine presentation. So far, I don't see any questions on the page. I see you have entertained and inspired people, but I'll wait a moment, and if anybody has a question to post, please put it in the comments, and I will be happy to ask Laura for you. And if you think of anything later, please do visit the event link in the Canvas community and post your question in the comments section. Laura, as she said, she is always available. She's there at the drop of a ping. So by all means, ask your questions, and I know Laura is going to answer them for you. I don't see any questions in the comments. So with that, Laura, I'm going to thank you once again. Thank you so much for contributing your wisdom and your insight and your innovation to the Canvas community and to all of us. I want to encourage everyone who's listening to please get involved with Canvas Live. Visit live.canvaslms.com, which you can follow so that you can be notified of upcoming events. Please join the Canvas Live user group so you can collaborate on presentations with other users and work with all of us to make Canvas Live even more spectacular. And last, hang out in our Canvas chat room. You can connect in real time with other Canvas users. So with that, I'd like to wish you all a lovely day, and thank you so much for attending.